DOSSIER. As the farming season sets in, there is renewed tension over the escalation of farmer leadership crisis in the central states of Nigeria. What is the reason behind the sudden escalation of banditry and other violent crimes in the
The question of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria.
Mr. Gabriel, I give you. And top commanders the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. Now, is this coming too late, or is just another attempt at generating traction? What's your take on this?
Yes, even though the military have been trying their best in curbing terrorism in Nigeria, curbing banditry in Nigeria, the charge by Mr. President and the to the Chief of Army Staff, on which he charged other GOCs and the Nigerian Army, I think it's a form of motivation. They actually need to do more because people are dying every day. These bandits, these terrorists, they come out to devise new means of attacking innocent people. Sometimes they focus on the military. When you think they focus on the security men, the next time they target small community settlements, the next time they go into the road, kidnapping, the next time they attack markets to get foodstuffs. So if you notice, it changes over time. So the military need to do more, most especially in finding information. They have to source more information, try to be ahead of these terrorists so that they will be able to win the war against terrorism finally. So I see it's timely, it's a charge from Mr. President. It's better late than never. So it's good it's coming now, and we encourage them to do more to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians.
Mr. Agibi, what's your take on?
Yeah, I think I agree with him. You know, it's never late. At any time, it's never late to protect lives and property. If the president has charged the chief of army staff, you know, to tell his commanders to do more, I think he's just doing the right thing. He's just saying the right thing. We really need to get this trashed out. It's been out for years. It's been for too long. People have died. Nigerians are dying. I mean, it's not late. It's never late. You know, even if it's today, they are going to end it. Let them end it today. Please, it's important that Nigerians live. Lives matters.
Now, still on this issue, over the week, we saw, I think that was last week, when the president summoned the service chiefs to the presidential villa. We had a meeting with them, and thereafter, the service chiefs didn't give any information. They didn't address the public. But the national security advisor to the president, talking of Babagana Munguno, came and publicly said that the president said the best of the service chiefs are not good enough. Now, it's beginning to generate some form of tension, I mean, some talking points as it stands now, that there might not be a good working synergy between the service chiefs and the national security advisor. Don't also forget that this same national security advisor, Babagana Munguno, had once accused Abba Kyari of being, you know, stalling the process of ending insurgency. Now, Abba Kyari is no more there. He's now coming down to blame the service chiefs. What is your take on this? Because a lot of Nigerians are worried that, you know, the top echelons of Nigeria security services are not in synergy.
I think synergy is a very important right about now. Security is every man's business, not just the business of the security advisor, not just the business of the chief of army staff, but also my business and your business. There's nobody that's not worried. He might be taking it too far or personal because maybe he's being affected directly because he's also from Borno. But let's not forget the fact that the chief of army staff, his place is also affected, which is Buratai in Biu local government, is also affected. So nobody will want his hometown to be in chaos. Nobody will sit and watch people just invade your home. Whether you like it or not, they have relatives there. His dad just died not too long ago. That's, I'm referring to the chief of army staff. He resided there. So there's nobody that is not trying, but they need to come together. They need to be open to ideas. They need to be open to information. Let everybody come together to ensure that we stamp out terrorism out of Nigeria in the shortest possible time. They just need to come together to work. We are watching. There's actually, there are signals that they might not be very united. But I see it as being them, some of them being emotional towards this, which I don't really blame them. Maybe they've made input of ideas that they've not really seen the implementation of those ideas. That's what, in my opinion, that's what I see happening.
Mr. Agibi, you think there's a lack of synergy or there's an infighting somehow?
Be that as it may, I think the heat is directly on NSA now, because prior to now he would say, okay,
Buhari was there, stumbling block. Now he has to face it directly. But we should trash it out. We want these things taken off Nigeria completely.
But the war on insurgency seems to be taking so long, and it looks like Nigerians are becoming too agitated, and they want this thing to end so fast. What are these factors responsible for, derailing the war on insurgency, successes of the war on insurgency? What do you think?
Yes, from research and one-on-one interaction we've had with people, when it started, everybody thought it was business as usual. There were some people that were benefiting from the crisis. Whether you like it or not, when there's crisis, people benefit. International NGOs, they were coming, the local NGOs, they were there, the media, they were benefiting. So military officers benefited, the government, people even, the masses, they were seeing free food. And these insurgents themselves, the terrorists, they were getting fundings from international organizations, but it is, if you can recall now, this war is more than 10 years, for God's sake. For how long? Even the Civil War is not lasting.
Talking about the multinational, the supranational NGOs who have been serving in the northeast of the country, majority of them at the time had issues with the Nigerian military where some of their offices were sealed. Talking about some of them who went paid upfront of 10 years rent of office facilities and accommodation. Wow. Why do you think these people indulge in this? What would be their mission ultimately, sir?
Well, certainly, it looks like if someone had gone ahead to pay for like 10 years, rent, it means it was kind of business. We have come here and we're not going to ensure that this thing ends. Perhaps they had interest in it. Otherwise, why would you want to come and stay here for 10 years? Just like my colleague here said, 3 years of civil war was too much for us. Now we're talking about 10 years, 2009 to date. It's about 11 years. So I think, by and large, the international committees had a way of making this continue. Otherwise, if they were not benefiting from it, and truly if this thing was affecting them negatively, these things would have ended yesterday. But it looked like they're interested for several reasons known to them. We may not know them, but I think clearly they have interest in this war.
So now, do you think that the current crop of service chiefs we have justified their position so far?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Chief of Army Staff have done very well, most especially the Chief of Army Staff. The Chief of Air Staff is also doing his best. At first, people will say there was no synergy between the two. Yes, but now you see them giving the ground troops moving the airstrikes. You can see there's synergy.
And the Navy too have been doing a lot from around the water.
Yes, most especially around Baga local government, the Navy, the Lake Chad Basin, yes, the special forces there. Yes, just like we said, there are some other countries that were benefiting from this, most especially some countries bordering Nigeria. They were hosting these terrorists and they were not doing anything because our soldiers could not cross. They were making money from it. So now they are feeling the heat. They are trying to push them back to Nigeria. If we fight, we can't cross the border.
Sure.
Yes, so we can't cross the border. So there was like more of a safe haven for them. But now, as the terrorism is spreading to their country, that's why we noticed that we are even having success. They were trying to give credit to the president of Chad. And I laughed. I saw that as a landlord-tenant relationship gone bad because they were in your country for a very long time. You were not cooperating, and we could not come to your country to kill these men. And because you killed them, the media took it as if the military have not been doing anything.
So truly, the Chief of Army Staff, we must give credit to him. He's up and doing. He's doing his best. I mean, you could also see him in the field. I have witnessed him in Northeast. I have seen his desire to, honestly, common sense should tell anybody that somebody is from Borno State, his people are there, and he's leading the army. Why would he not want this thing to end? Of what interest? If he makes the money, who's going to enjoy? He's comfortable, really, to the fact that he has served 30-something years. So he will not. It's not just about money. It's about his people too.
Leaving a legacy.
I mean, so he need to leave a legacy, just like we, you know. I think he has done his best, and to say they have outlived, no. If you bring in new people today, the same Nigerians will begin to say, "Oh, why don't we give them 6 months? Why don't we give them 1 year?" This thing, let the president ensure that these people end with him in a manner that we will all be happy for it.
Well, we'll be talking with these two gentlemen, Comrade Isaac Ikpa, who is the Executive Secretary of the Center for Equity, Transparency and Social Justice, CESJET, and Mr. Gabriel Agibi, who is the convener of the People's Parliament. We will take a short break from now, and then when we come back, we will give you highlights of some of the discussions that went down at the Army headquarters when the Chief of Army Staff met with his top commanders. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
The meeting discussed wide-ranging security issues, the state of counter-terrorism and other internal security operations in Nigeria, and the necessity for commanders, officers, and men to redouble their efforts and ensure all security threats in the country are effectively checkmated. General Buratai directed all commanders, general officers, commanding and field commanders, all officers and men of the Nigerian Army to ensure that the charge given by Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief must be fully implemented so as to speedily crush Boko Haram terrorism and the myriad of security threats facing the nation. The Chief of Army Staff said that, I quote, "The criminals and their collaborators, sponsors, must be exposed, flushed out, and destroyed."
The question of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria.
areas in mostly the northern states, north central states, has it seems to have been taking a new dimension, especially when the rains are coming, have started, and then the farming season approaching. There's this renewed fear on the minds of residents in those areas. What could be responsible for this persistent crisis over the years, year in, year out, even before this administration came on board? We have had these kind of clashes. Why has it continued unabated?
This same worrisome question that made the Center for Social Justice, Equity and Transparency, CESJET, come together to do a research, Headers Farmer Crisis in Nigeria, the interplay of truth and falsehood on the issue. So we carefully did our research. We looked at documents. We visited affected areas. We went round, most especially the north central states, to have one-on-one interview contact with people affected, and we came out with our report, which we made public yesterday, and the report is there. So it's very worrisome because, one, from what we discovered that because of the climate change and the insecurity in the northeast, when dry season commences, you see them drifting from the northern part of Nigeria down south, and the most affected areas is the middle belt because of our green environment, most especially the states of Benue, Taraba, and Nasarawa state, and sometimes the Plateau state. When they move downwards, you see the clash, the herdsmen and the farmer clash, because these herdsmen, I think they need to, from what we found out, they need to be educated not to follow grazing routes and not to invade people's farms. We have enough grasses to feed cows in Nigeria, so we don't see any reason why they should go into people's farm.
Mr. Agibi, you think that this crisis is not yet time for it to be over?
Long overdue. I think Nigeria as a country, we have talked about this kind of issues year in, year out. I expected that by now we would have learned one or two things, especially that people keep dying. You see, even the headers, they lose people. And the farmers, they also die. That's why people advocated they should go into this ranching and all that. I think the federal government should have taken it upon them to see how they can, also provide for, the headers and also take care of the farmers' crops. Otherwise, it's going to be a continuous thing, and that is not what we desire for this country for now. Also, that banditry is disturbing us, kidnapping is disturbing us, and the headers, farmers is going to continue. It's not palatable for Nigerians at all.
You see, for over the years, you are much older than some of us.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is, you know how much the headsmen have cohabited with people in these regions for so many years, even down south. Why is it that all of a sudden, we didn't have this kind of crisis before, but all of a sudden it has assumed an alarming proportion?
I truly don't know where the whole evil is coming from. Otherwise, especially the Fulanis, they were all together with we mix together with them. We eat together. We sometimes make fun of them and see them carry their chickens behind them as they drive their flocks around. And all of a sudden, some evil people came to mix with them. Otherwise, the indigenous ones that we know, because all the time we have talked about all these ones. There are some foreigners or some powerful elements that have introduced, these headers who also carry guns. Prior to now, this one will carry sticks and will go around and you welcome them in your community and they will just pass and go, take some milk, some nono, and all that. But now it's a completely different ball game. We don't understand.
Mr. Isaac, you think the crisis is overexploited?
Yes. Let me add to what he has said first. Okay. First of all, the reason why this thing is persisting is, one, some people are taking advantage of the situation. One, to fuel religious crisis in Nigeria, some. have political. So we look at the religious undertone, the political undertone of this crisis between farmers and herders. First, some media houses try to paint the Fulani as a terrorist organization.
Yeah, but it's a tribe, it's an ethnic group.
Yes, exactly.
And in
exactly
every ethnic group you must have.
Yes, but you
good,
see
the
the
bad,
pack.
and the ugly.
Yes, exactly.
That's a kind of stereotype now.
Yes, the stereotype now. Then you see them saying, oh, it's a jihad. There are some people that try to propagate this is a jihad. So if you see a Fulani man now, maybe you're in the south, you see the Fulani man, you get scared. You get scared of the Fulani man. You see, you now say, oh, the jihad, the Usman Dan Fodio jihad has continued. Well, if you know, just like Mr. Agibi said, when we were kids, we don't even see the Fulani as very religious people. They come, they even take things that are haram according to Islam. They practice some of these things. We see them. We've lived with them. We see them even celebrating some of their festivals that is not Salah. They have their festivals they also celebrate. So we look at them from that. Then, if you notice, this thing has affected us economically too. Because one, people are scared of going to farms. There are some people that are not feeling very secured to go to farms. So it has dropped, the crop production have dropped. And it's
even the price of meat, of beef stock too has gone
yes,
up. So it's affecting everyone.
Affecting everyone.
In my place, when they stopped the grazing, that's Benue State, that's why some of us, in our opinion and from findings, we want them to put a stop to that open grazing law. Let they look at a way that will also accommodate the herders a little, because most of them even say they do cattle business. They should encourage ranching. They should make this law. Has the grazing stopped? No, it has not stopped. But they should find a way that these people, they should do ranching schemes to assist these Fulani men. People will say, okay, that why will they spend so much money? But whether I like it or not, even agriculture till today, the government is investing seriously in crop production. So why don't we want them to also benefit from, that is those that are herders, to also benefit from the government? They subsidize fertilizer, they subsidize grain, agrochemicals, they give loans. Nigeria Microfinance Bank is there, giving loans to rice farmers, cassava farmers. So why can't the herders benefit, or people that are into livestock also benefit from this? So and again, because of the enmity, I think they should find a way of brokering peace, encouraging synergy between farmers and herders. They should
Exactly. You think the authorities need to do more?
Yeah, I think just like I said, they need to do more really, because the herders-farmers relationship is not good at all, and the government is there. They can play, a middleman role and bring peace amongst them. They need to do more. They really need to do more, because we are all Nigerians. We are all in businesses of different kinds. The people who have herders, that's their business. It should also enable them and help them to grow, just like the farmers who also have their own livestock.
While looking for the bandits to fishing out the bandits.
Exactly.
And deal with
the bandits and the kidnappers, those ones that have truly come out for evil. They can deal with those ones.
Now, before we go, there is this issue that has lingered on in the northwest region of the country. That I'm talking about Zamfara, Sokoto, and parts of Katsina State. Banditry has assumed another dimension. Also, that one is not farmer herders. A lot of people don't get to know the nitty-gritty in that crisis, because it probably doesn't affect some of us down south, or however they want to put it. But it's still the same group of people ravaging the central states that are still ravaging parts of the northwest.
Yes.
In terms of banditry. Now there's a fallout between the government, the governors of those states, and the bandits, where they kind of arrange an amnesty for them. Now, what, in your opinion, could be responsible for this fallout, and why? What should they do, to end this once and for all?
Yes, one, I think greed on the side of the bandits. Two, mistrust. Greed in such a way that sometimes the leaders of these groups will go and negotiate with government. But maybe when they get some benefits and say, okay, they broker peace and they come to agreement, let's not hide away from the fact. Even the governor of Kaduna said, also mentioned that cash was involved in trying to settle. Yes, to settle these things. Then these things are in the media, and the little ones do not benefit. Some of them will go and regroup and fall out from the agreement and go behind their leaders and start carrying out this business. Okay, let me bring the headers into it now. The headers were heavily affected because they were rustling their cows.
Sure.
They rustled their cows, and the government, maybe the government did not really take it seriously. They started kidnapping human beings, and now they kidnap and collect heavy ransoms and this thing in the media. And there are some people that are over ambitious, and this might be good business. They might even go and regroup. Sometimes it's even a new group that will rise up, not even the old group. And there are some people, the security agents, there are bad eggs in the security system that also aid this thing. You can see what happened in Taraba State, the Wandume issue. But we are happy the way the army, they are taking it. They are trying to bring those people to order. At least one of them have accepted that it was the one that shot the vehicle of the IRT. Yes. So we still preach every day. There should be synergy within the police, the army, the navy. Every day there should be this synergy to help us grow better.
Sorry, let me just add something. This banditry in the northwest, honestly, sometimes maybe it has happened otherwise. Why do you even need to negotiate with terrorists, with criminals, with bad boys? Because they have taken this to be business. If you negotiate with a criminal and he has benefited some money, which will never be enough for them, they'll go and instigate other people and say, come and do the same thing. And this thing is on and on and on. And honestly, it's disheartening that our people in the northwest are also dying again. And then some bandits are there making some money. Even though they keep saying they have killed the thousands, I also wonder the number of people these guys are. How many are they that will have kept killing and killing and killing, and they're still there in numbers? So the bottom line, I think the governors of Northwest should come together with the support of the military anyway and launch a total war on these people, because it's not acceptable. It's not something we agree, to continue. You don't need to negotiate with bandits. That's my opinion.
Well, we have been talking with two gentlemen guests who are here in the studio, talking of Comrade Isaac Ikpa, who is the Executive Secretary of SESJET, and the convener of the People's Parliament, Mr. Gabriel Agibi. We'll be talking about the issue of insecurity in the country and the perennial farmer headers crisis in the central states and the banditry issue in the northwest. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much.
I hope to have you again someday when you are free.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Now, this is where we draw the curtains on the program today, and until we come your way again with another exciting edition of Security Dossier, always follow us on all our YouTube channels, social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, and also on Instagram. And remember to send us your comments, your commentaries, and suggestions, as well as contributions. My name is Lawrence Aldu. Bye for now.